Hello, today's a rainy day, so I thought I'd have a look at this again. Now, it was supposed to be a nice fun project. Unfortunately, it was met almost immediately with complete disaster. I was getting no video output and no power. So I found if I remove the game cartridge board, I'd get power and I'd get video out. So I opened up the TAITO F3 cartridge to have a look inside and immediately could tell something was wrong. The board was creased, which is not good. So I removed it to find that someone had put the game board in the enclosure back to front and had crushed the board. Now, if you're not familiar with TAITO F3 cartridge system, the enclosures are keyed with pegs either side, 2 on this side, 1 on that side, although just 1 in total now. And this had led to there being nowhere for the PCB to go, so it folded in on itself. Bugger. So I decided to consult some friends who pretty much told me it's a write-off, and I'm inclined to agree with them, but I thought, well, let's see what will happen if I were to clean it, see if I can find and identify any damaged components and replace them, and see what we get. So here's the game PCB, and you can see there's some stress fractures that side and there. The sockets had crack joints for all solder joints along there, so I've reflowed pretty much all the sockets at least, and then the obvious joints that needed touching up. I've cleaned it, took all the socketed chips out before I did that, and put them all back in. I had a bit of a nightmare with that one and that one. For some reason they'd been sort of squished sideways inside the enclosure, so the legs were completely bent before I even got around to taking them out. So I'm a bit concerned because I had a look at their program board logic arrays, so I don't think I can necessarily replace them unless I have some means to reprogram them, if I'm getting that right. So, a bit of a concern. I've still got that ROM chip there, which has got a nice crack through the middle of it, so that will need replacing. And one of these switch arrays here is broken too. That needs replacing as well. I don't want to spend any money on this until I can at least get power on. Maybe even load the game, then look at these other problems. So I've replaced the outer capacitors. There wasn't anything wrong with them in terms of age related issues, but they've been absolutely crushed. So if I can find one, that will focus. So that one's been crushed, and the moment I started heating that with a soldering iron, it started leaking electrolyte, which is not good. So I've just done the outside ones because there's nothing wrong with them age-wise, it's just Pillock who had this before. So I've left that one in the middle, replaced the outside ones with Panasonic ones. So the next step will be to put it back in its enclosure the right way around and see if it boots up. I've also been cleaning and checking over the actual main board, so hopefully we'll have a nice clean actual arcade board to put this into, and then we can get around to testing. So that's what will be happening next. Okay, here's the TAITO F3 board back in its tray enclosure. As you can see, it's all nice and clean. Did lose the stickers that are on the board. Did replace the Europe sticker at least, the label maker. And we also have the world's smallest, noisiest and dirtiest fan, which was pretty disgusting. I'm only going to leave that plugged in when I power it up because I don't think I'll need it for operation anyway, because it's not inside an arcade cabinet. So the moment I hear that the fan spins, it's been disconnected and left off for the time being. So I've cleaned the jammer edge connector as well. It's all nice and shiny. So yeah, next thing to do is hook up the jammer harness and check to make sure there's still power. Right, got the board plugged into a rather crude jammer test harness I just made, because I forgot I used the last one in the Consize Tekken 3, so that was a bit embarrassing. So I'm just going to test if it powers on. It did have power before without the cartridge plugged in, so it'll be interesting to see whether that's changed. I've only got video hooked up and power, nothing else at the moment, so we'll just see if it will turn on. Oh, we've got the fan spinning, and it's doing that watchdog sort of timer thing where it's just looking for the cartridge, can't see it, resets itself, looks at the cartridge, resets, etc, etc. Right, that's good news. So I'm going to unplug that fan because it's not needed. Right, moment of truth then. Right, I'm going to plug the sound in as well. I don't know if we'll get sound because that ROM chip's broken and the switcher chip for it's broken too, but we'll see. Oh bloody hell. Bloody hell. There's no sound, but then I wasn't expecting sound. Wow. Bloody hell, I wonder if it'll I wasn't actually expecting this to work. I wonder if it'll work with a control pad. Bloody hell, the sound. Ah, it's just coming. Right, okay. Could be the sound's intermittent because it can't access the data. Okay, so just go into the menu. Let's do a switch test first and we'll check this is wired in. Yeah, that's working fine. Okay, I've got an undammed USB decoder board there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, probably not. So that's allowing me to use a PlayStation 3 control pad with this to test it. Right, so let's go into sound. There's something, it's a bit garbled. I don't want to put it up too high because I've only got it plugged straight into the headphone socket going to a Neo Geo AES cable, so I don't want to send it up too much. So that's going straight from the amp, so it's wired off the jammer harness rather than using the stereo connector, which I believe this board has somewhere, which I've not found the service manual yet, so kind of doing this blind. Yes, configuration, it's all looking good. Okay, see if it plays then. I did see there was a track. Oh, sound's come back. Okay, sound's definitely intermittent. That's fine. Well, that's better progress than I could have hoped for. So it gives me something to work on next. Yeah, it's only accessing half the sound banks, I guess that is. Yeah, I'm happy with that as a test though. I'm really pleased. There's hope. At least I know the board itself is okay, even if the game PCB can't be saved. Don't worry about that flickering. That's because the sync timings on these boards a lot of equipment can't cope with it. So my poor capture device is struggling with that. That's fine. Right, I guess that's the end of the video until I can get a couple of those chips replaced then. Thank you very much for watching.